Are you looking for better shooting experience? How about a facility where you can shoot all of your firearms in the same day, where you can move and shoot steel, draw from the holster, and practice your rifle work out to 600 yards? Shoot a very challenging sporting clays course or a round of trap or skeet. You can do all that and much more at the Aurora Sportsman's Club. Hi, I'm David Lombardo, president of the Aurora Sportsman's Club. If you love the outdoors, you'll want to know all about Northern Illinois' largest outdoor shooting facility, the Aurora Sportsman's Club. If you're a novice looking for a basic course, an experienced shooter looking for an advanced course, or perhaps you want to participate in your favorite shooting event, or just spend an enjoyable day with a family, the Aurora Sportsman's Club is the only shooting facility in the region that offers all that and more. Interested? Then you won't want to miss the next orientation and tour of the Aurora Sportsman's Club. Call, email, or visit our website today to find out how you can become part of a better shooting experience at the Aurora Sportsman's Club in Waterman, Illinois.
He is the human Molotov cocktail that they can legally throw into the system that stole their lives from them.
So we're going to create a new government that serves you, your family, and your country.
It's time for On Target Radio, Chicagoland's only radio show dedicated to the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech. Now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues, here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
Welcome to On Target Radio. Tonight, David's rant of the week is Zero Tolerance. How stupid can you get? David and Gretchen will be talking about school zero tolerance policies and weighing in on the possible effects of a new pro-Second Amendment Supreme Court justice. Taking a look at the U.S. bombing of Syria, David and Gretchen will explore the long-standing question, should America be the world's policeman? You won't want to miss Segment 3 when we'll take a look at the so-called moderate Islamic cleric who said on live television, Muslims have the right to kill anyone who does not respect Islam. And finally, the plight of an Oregon judge who is being sued for 5 times his yearly salary and being targeted for removal from the bench, all because he's a Christian. All that and more on tonight's On Target Radio. So give us a call at 815-205-1584. That's 815-205-1584. Or go to Facebook, like our page On Target Radio, and ask a question or make a comment there.
Today's Rant of the Week and more of David's work can be found at bearingarms.com. And now, from the seething cauldron of personal opinion, it's David's Rant of the Week.
I wish people would stop saying, how stupid can you get when it comes to school zero-tolerance gun policies. School administrators see it as a challenge and rise to the occasion. Okay, I get the problem with kids and toy look-alike guns. The 12-year-old Ohio kid who was shot and killed by police in 2014 stands as a case in point. The cops yelled to the kid to raise his hands, out came the look-alike gun, and the cop shot him. So I'll stipulate it's not a good idea to bring a toy look-alike gun to school, as happened last week at a Jones County, Mississippi elementary school. Jones County School Superintendent Tommy Parker said they confiscated a toy look-alike gun from a 12-year-old boy after he showed it to some friends who then reported it to the administration. The boy is slated to have a disciplinary hearing that could result in extended suspension, expulsion, or transfer to an alternative school. The zero-tolerance school policy evolved out of the Federal Gun-Free Schools Act of 1994. But the question here is, where do you draw the line between a look-alike and everything else? About a year ago, a Denver, Colorado kindergarten student was suspended for bringing a toy bubble-blowing gun to school. The district defended the suspension, saying it makes no distinction between real and fake firearms, which is hardly a surprise because schools seem to have enough trouble making the distinction between real and fake history. The clear plastic bubble gun had blue, yellow, and green plastic on the inside and a frozen princess bubble bottle attached to it. Okay, so it sort of looked like a gun. My real concern is when schools punish kids for things that have nothing to do with a gun and present no real danger or perceived danger whatsoever to anyone except in the mind of some liberal anti-gun nutjob. 2 years ago, a 10-year-old boy was suspended for 3 days because he was playing with friends and made his fingers look like a gun, with his thumb up and finger sticking out forward. Then he made the mistake of pointing the deadly finger at a friend, which was observed by a teacher who instantly recognized the inherent danger of giving someone the finger. The next day, the boy and his father met with the principal, who informed them that if it happened again, the suspension would be longer, if not permanent. She told them he was being suspended for a, listen to this, level 2 look-alike firearm violation. Last week, a 5-year-old girl was suspended from a Hoke County, North Carolina kindergarten for playing with a stick. Admittedly, she was playing with friends, and she was a guard protecting the Royals, so she was using a stick as if it were a gun in the game. But it was a stick, a wooden stick, and some teacher felt it resembled a gun. Then there's the notorious case of the 7-year-old Maryland boy who was suspended for 2 days because he chewed a Pop-Tart into what his teacher thought resembled a gun. According to the school, the suspension was, I quote, direct result of the deployment of food weaponry, unquote. Food weaponry? Seriously? How stupid can you get? Well, pretty stupid, because the father filed a lawsuit in Anne Arundel County Circuit Court. Judge Ronald Silkwood upheld the suspension. Must have been an assault Pop-Tart. And that, Gretchen, is my rant for the week.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm fairly gobsmacked.
Gobsmacked it is. We're up for gobsmacked. This is the first time that I had to give the okay thing to somebody else. 215 shows in my...
It's showtime.
What can I say? And look, we got cool stuff that you don't know about because you came late.
Yeah.
I got a board now. I can do the rants and stuff
okay.
like we used to have.
Okay.
Which is actually more work for me. So I don't know why I thought it was cool.
I'm like,
not certain why I thought that was cool.
Confused. Okay.
Yeah. And we have a new segment.
It's barely all I can handle to like have background material and Facebook. That's like,
well, you know,
that's the limits of my
cutting edge
capabilities.
stuff. So this zero tolerance stuff really has gotten out of hand. I mean, it's gotten ridiculous. We followed it over the years.
Yeah.
If you've had an experience with that, give us a call, 815-205-1584. We can actually take calls. Sometimes people call. This kid, Cody Chitwood,
17.
This kid is facing criminal charges.
Felony. Yeah.
Yeah, because he had a fishing tackle box in his car.
Mm-hmm. With knives in it.
Yeah, but they're legal knives. There was nothing illegal about them.
Well, except that he had them on school property. I'm assuming that's...
Have you ever thought of going into school administration?
No, I'm just saying, I'm assuming that's what they're...
It is. Well, you're right. That is what it is.
That's what they're...
But they were in his car in a parking lot. He didn't bring him into school.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were doing a sweep of the parking lot.
Right, with a canine.
Yeah.
Who probably smelled fish.
Like what? Yeah, like WTF.
Yeah.
This is...
I think it said he smelled firecrackers.
It was black powder.
Yeah,
He smelled
black
black powder.
powder,
Right,
yeah.
yeah. I was just being funny.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently
Yeah.
not that funny,
Well,
but I was, giving it a shot.
I got the joke.
Good. We just went from 2 people down to none, probably, because I did one bad joke. And we were
Everybody's
done.
like giving their
Yeah.
Facebook the finger.
Dangerous finger. You got to be careful about that.
It's
Okay.
a loaded finger.
He did, in fact, have knives in it. But, I mean, I'm a fisherman. I got knives in my tackle box. I got a long knife for filleting. I got a short knife for cutting stuff. I got a Bowie knife for people who get on my fishing spot, and I want to get rid of them. That's, you got knives.
Yeah, and the fact that this is in Georgia, I find shocking.
That's a real surprise.
I find very shocking.
Chicago, I get.
Right,
Not
exactly.
Georgia,
Like
yeah.
north of the Mason-Dixon line and east of the Mississippi. Okay, I wouldn't be that surprised. But seriously, Georgia?
Academia is pervasive. Liberalism has become pervasive.
Yeah, it's really getting crazy. I mean, like what you're saying with clear bubble gun with a frozen princess bubble thing attached to it. Come on. I mean, what...
Dumb.
It seems like the piece that's missing is, well, common sense, obviously, but the piece that's missing is the motivation. If you're looking at this child who's 5 years old or 7 years old, and they're bringing a bubble gun or a Pop-Tart or a finger, into their play at school, I don't think their motivation is violence. They
No,
don't. have the capacity for that. Now, again, I mean, some of these kids with the fake guns, and they purposely take off the orange tips, and they purposely try to make it look like a real gun. Okay, now we have motivation.
Yeah.
Now, now the child has taken steps to make the
You're
gun
egging
appear
them on.
more real. And right, and so
like the guys that took the ARs into the police station.
right,
I'm not doing
exactly.
anything illegal.
Or the guys who are carrying slung ARs into Chipotle.
Yeah.
Give me a break, okay? But yeah, there's no motivation in any of those instances that you cited.
I'm hoping that under this administration that we'll begin to tilt a little more towards pro-Second Amendment. And now we got
I don't know what Trump can do about this kind of BS, though.
I think it started at the top and worked down.
Well, but again, I mean, have you ever seen the documentary Agenda?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Okay. Well, one of the things they bring out in there is that the kids who went to college in the Bill Ayers time period,
right,
and they were the first ones to be indoctrinated. Now they're teaching. They've gone on to their college professors, and they are now indoctrinating all of the teachers of America.
But let me tell you how this could work. And we only have a minute, but let me tell you how it could work. If you have a kid arrested for having a stick, you sue them into the ground. Mm-hmm. And if you have conservative judges who will say, that's ridiculous, there's no bearing there. Suddenly you're going to be throwing ice water on people who are doing that.
Well, that would be...
And they're just getting away with it now.
That would be refreshing.
Refreshing, that's right. We got 37 seconds, but they finally appointed Gorsuch to the Supreme Court. Yes. Nuclear option.
Yes.
Now the Democrats are up in arms. Oh, you're ruining the Constitution. They did the same thing with judicial appointments. Yeah. We'll talk a little more about that when we come back. And we're also going to talk about Syria when we come back. That'll be serious. Yeah. So all that and more when we return with more On Target Radio. And give us a call, 815-205-1584.
For over 100 years, the Illinois State Rifle Association has supported the rights and freedoms of Illinois citizens to keep and bear arms. For over 100 years, the ISRA has supported the use of firearms as a sport for personal protection and as a fundamental aspect of national defense. For over 100 years, the Illinois State Rifle Association has been supporting you. Don't you think it's time you supported them? ISRA.org or 815-635-3198. The Illinois State Rifle Association, supporting you.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. The On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invite you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
Do you dread writing? Is it challenging to find just the right words to get your point across? Do you put off developing marketing materials because you just don't know where to start? You get one chance to make a first impression, and my editor, Creative Business Services, can help make it a strong, positive one. Hi, this is Gretchen Fritz, co-host of On Target Radio, and I'd like to tell you about My Editor, a business I started to help you overcome those concerns. What you're experiencing is very common. My Editor has helped business owners, candidates for political office, and even authors and public speakers. At My Editor Creative Business Services, we can simply edit your existing work or help you develop an entire writing plan of action from initial project design through final copy. We are easy to work with and will help you get your point across in the most effective manner. If words escape you, send me an email at myeditor@mail.com. Use My Editor Creative Business Services and go to print with confidence. That's myeditor@mail.com or find us on Facebook.
You're listening to On Target Radio with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
This segment is brought to you by the Will County Grassroots Division of the Illinois State Rifle Association. Join like-minded friends supporting the right to keep and bear arms in Illinois at 7 p.m. on the third Wednesday of the month at the Silver Dollar Restaurant in Elwood, Illinois.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the Democrats... If a man is alone in the woods and he talks and there's no one to hear him, is he still wrong? Did not the Democrats use a nuclear option on appointing appellate court justices?
I wouldn't say no.
I think they did.
I'm not familiar.
I'm about 90% sure that they did. This typical duplicitous liberal crap about how everything that this president does, or anybody that is surrounding him, it undermines the Constitution. It's never been, and they've done the same things.
Everyone is wrong. Yes.
They've done the same stuff, and they just conveniently forget that.
Wasn't there an article one time that we read that was like, everything you think is wrong?
Yeah, right. And, look, this last president totally circumvented the legislature. Mm-hmm. He just wrote executive orders on gun control, health care. When his health care program was falling apart at the seams, he wrote executive orders changing the time. That was legislation.
That's totally
you can't do that.
Yeah.
They gave him a pass.
Yeah.
They just gave him a pass. He wrote one executive order after another.
I think the Supreme Court did say at one point, that's totally unconstitutional, but they didn't do anything.
They just ignored it.
Yeah.
They
didn't do anything to him about it.
So and it really was the last 4 years that he really went into overdrive doing that, big time. So they expect they're intentionally blocking a Supreme Court nomination. They won't negotiate on anything. We're going to block it. We're going to filibuster it. After 4 years of having that president do the stuff that he did, we're just going to roll over and die, and we're going to go, okay, we won't bring it to a vote. I would have done the nuclear option 32 minutes into the filibuster. That would have been it. Pull the plug. We're going home. Give me a break. So it was 54-45. That sounds like a movie title for a football game, but 54-45, and
that would be a very high-scoring football game.
Yeah, well, it would be. It would be indeed. Now, what does that really do? What does that actually do? It doesn't really. Kennedy is a swing vote.
Yeah,
he's supposedly conservative, but he's a swing vote.
He goes both ways.
Yeah, you never know. He goes both ways. Yes,
he plays for both teams.
We're not going down that one at all, but. He's technically he's a Republican, but he has crossed over, so you don't ever really know for sure. Oh, we have a call. We have a call, and it's his name is Auto Screen Processing Audio.
Oh, I guess it's.
I have no idea what that means.
It's there we go.
We'll try it and see what happens. You there?
Hello?
Yeah, he is there. How you doing?
Hi, Dave and Gretchen.
Hello.
Harry Reid changed the rules in 2013 to not just appellate court judges, but all federal judges.
See, I was sure he did. That's what I thought.
Yeah. So now the demon rats are reaping the whirlwind, and they're crying like 5-year-olds, spoiled brats. That gee. So
they don't
real
mention
that. Called in, no, they don't, and their collaborators in the mainstream media conveniently don't bring it up either. The reason I called, I was motivated to call before I heard your question. It was we added 5 new co-sponsors to the Hearing Protection Act this week. We're up to 135 in the House, and we added 1 in the Senate, by the way. So we're up to 13.
Who's in the Senate?
So we have like a fourth of the House of Representatives is co-sponsoring this.
Right.
That's interesting.
So I could get, another maybe 200 and about, 10 or 15 more senators. I think it's going to be a realistically done deal, I think. But I'm just speculating. So,
well,
I just thought I'd let you all know.
That's interesting. I appreciate that. Thank you. See, you never.
It's working its way.
We
Not
have
going to
listeners.
happen overnight.
No, nothing does, unless it's Democratic stuff, and then it happens before Congress goes into session.
Yeah, there's such a diversion. All this other stuff that's going on, bills like we're talking about, those they get kind of set on the back burner for a while. But it's going to come. It's coming. It's just going to take a while. We just have to be patient. And unfortunately, there's been no sponsors on the ATF Elimination Act, so I don't think.
Oh, there aren't any? None at all?
Not one. Not a single one.
I thought there were.
The last time I looked.
Oh. That's a shame.
I don't even think it's been. I don't even think it's been introduced in the Senate. It's just been introduced by Congressman Sensenbrenner from Wisconsin.
Oh, see, I thought there were. That would be, if there's ever an agency that needed to get axed, ATF is it. The FBI could easily
bring up is right, and back the Waco fiasco.
Yeah.
Do you know how that started? That started because Congress was considering cutting the budget of the ATF back in 92 or 3.
Oh yeah, a long time ago. Janet Reno.
And so these knuckleheads at ATF thought if they staged this huge raid
right.
on people allegedly having illegal weapons, that would justify at least not cutting their budget, if not increasing it.
Yeah.
Well, you know how that all worked out.
Yeah, it worked out really well. And that whole thing was a fiasco to begin with because David Koresh, wasn't that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
David Koresh used to go out jogging every morning. If they really wanted to get David Koresh, all they had to do was park on the side of the road. He went every day out jogging.
Right.
Grab him.
They could have snatched him with no problem whatsoever. Wouldn't have been headlines.
That wouldn't have been dramatic. Yeah, exactly. No headlines,
Yep.
dramatic TV of our brave ATF agents in their military gear.
Yeah.
No offense to the military. Raiding a compound that eventually killed over 70 women and children and old men.
It was a disaster. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate you calling. Okay, you have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Which doesn't exactly segue into Syria, but kind of does, I'm as a Vietnam guy, I'm not exactly sure how I feel about this. Now, on the one hand, I like the fact that we have a president who goes, that's over the line. Bomb them. That's pretty cool. We will get credibility back in the world pretty quickly. It may not be loved.
And that may be the point.
It may well be. You may be right. That may be exact. He probably sitting at the what's the ship they got the desk from? The British.
Oh, a Resolute?
The Resolute.
Yeah,
He'd probably be sitting there, not with his feet on the desk.
No.
And he goes, how am I going to do this? Oh, they just gassed him in Syria? Drop the bombs.
Good enough.
Hit him. Go
Good
get
enough.
him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. If you want to prove you've got a pair.
That proved it.
Yeah.
And there's clearly a level of justification. He said, we don't want to get involved in Syria until they cross the line. When you gas people like that, little kids being gassed, that's over the line.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I'm conflicted about it. I agree that, as a new president, and especially with all the crap that he's being given here at home by the other, the left, that, to show that he has a set is not necessarily a bad thing. A, at what cost, and B, he kind of, what they've been saying on the news this morning is he campaigned on sort of isolationism a little bit.
He did,
leaning a little libertarian on foreign policy type of things, military action, and a little isolationist. And this is not. But then on the other hand, it's like any Democrat that wants to complain about this, they operate their entire party on pure emotion. Okay?
Oh, absolutely.
So it's the most hypocritical thing you could ever say of, you shouldn't send Tomahawk missiles into Syria and bomb the crap out of this air base that was the launching point for this particular attack. I mean, as he said, you look at this video of these men, women, and children who are dying from sarin gas, and
it's pretty disgusting.
It touches a nerve.
It does.
And if it doesn't, you're not human. And, these Democrats who operate everything on raw emotion, I don't understand how they can say one word about it.
The interesting thing in this is, and I tend to be somewhat isolationist, at the end of World War II, most European countries were so devastated, they had no money. I mean, they were France, Great Britain. Great Britain got bombed all the time.
Oh,
they just got pulverized.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, contrary to popular belief, the Japanese did make it onto the Western Shore, but they didn't. They couldn't go anywhere. They couldn't go anyplace. But United States came out pretty healthy after the war because we made a lot of the war supplies. So there was a lot of cash. The 50s were very, very wealthy period.
Time, yeah.
So during that period of time, it was the Cold War. We had money. We had industry. Europe didn't. We kind of footed the bill to protect Europe. NATO. I mean, we basically funded it. We were the world's peacekeeper because we could be. And it was very black and white. It was U.S. and the Soviet Union. It was very clear. It was just, 1-2. That was it. Those days are gone. I mean, first of all, Europe, they're not bathing in money, but they can afford their own defense. We shouldn't keep paying for their defense.
Right, and obviously France has a few,
Exactly.
fighter jets and
Yeah.
things, so, they're doing all right.
Us being the world police force, I supported that, and I volunteered to go to Vietnam because that was still post sort of that philosophy. And after Vietnam, I thought, I don't regret going, but I thought we had a whole lot of young people killed in the war for what? Why exactly? What was our interest in that? And some of our interest was we had a SAC base in Thailand, and they didn't want communist Chinese getting too close to Thailand. We're within striking distance of the SAC base. But basically, what was our skin in the game? I don't know.
Well,
and ever since then,
it
I've
was a
been
philosophy. It was that
was domino theory.
That domino philosophy.
Yeah. Which, interestingly enough, when we pulled out, the dominoes started falling. Yeah,
it did,
exactly.
It did to some degree happen. Yeah.
General Japp wrote in his memoirs, they were about ready to surrender. They'd been beaten, and then what's her face shows up, and they realize that the American press is against the war in Vietnam. It reinvigorated them. They stayed in the game.
Yeah.
They were ready to give up because they never really won a major battle. We kicked their butts from one end of Vietnam to the other. Anyway, we're going to come back with some more. When we come back, there is a moderate Islamic cleric who on television said, kill anybody that doesn't believe in us. I don't know how these people get away with that stuff. So we'll be back with that and more. Give us a call, 815-205-1584. And we'll be back after these messages with more on Target Radio. Hi, I'm David Lombardo, co-host of On Target Radio, and I'd like to offer you a partnership opportunity. For over 4 years, On Target Radio covered the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech on AM 560 The Answer. But a 1-minute commercial was $200, making it tough to find enough sponsors. So last November, we left AM 560 and began podcasting. There's a learning curve to podcasting, and we've worked through the kinks and would now like to make you an offer. You can have a 60-second audio or video commercial for as little as $25 a week. We can also offer fellow conservatives their own radio or video podcast for as little as $100 a week with equipment and technical personnel included. You provide the content and host, plus get 6 free minutes of commercial time you can sell yourself. If you'd like to be an On Target Radio sponsor or explore the possibility of having your own show, call me at 815-741-3474 and let's explore the possibilities together.
For over 100 years, the Illinois State Rifle Association has supported the rights and freedoms of Illinois citizens to keep and bear arms. For over 100 years, the ISRA has supported the use of firearms as a sport for personal protection and as a fundamental aspect of national defense. For over 100 years, the Illinois State Rifle Association has been supporting you. Don't you think it's time you supported them? ISRA.org or 815-635-3198. The Illinois State Rifle Association, supporting you.
You're listening to On Target Radio with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
And we're back. Give us a call, 815-205-1584. Just kind of a last thing on the Syria thing. I think, and you know how that goes, I don't think...
That's dangerous.
I'm not sure that we're going to do boots on the ground there, because he did really kind of go at this as an isolationist sort of thing. Why are we spending money and killing our own people in other countries?
Right.
I think this was flexing his muscle. I think you're right. I think it was saber rattling.
Yeah.
But inappropriate, because he wasn't doing it for the other killing stuff. But when they did that, and you notice the Russians have been pretty quiet about it. They haven't said a whole lot about it, and they have a very vested interest over there.
Yeah.
They've sort of
They're
just
very involved.
taken a back seat and.
Well, one of the articles that we had said that they had promised they were going to get rid of the chemical weapons in Syria
Originally.
and
Never
never
did.
followed through on it.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably part of the reason why they're being pretty quiet is they didn't hold up their end of the bargain.
Right.
So
they said they would take them from the Syrians, who said they would give them up after that, the first time they used chemical weapons, and that never happened.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing is, and and this may not be popular, but I have a certain level of respect for Vladimir Putin, because the one thing you can say about Vladimir Putin is he loves Russia and he'll do whatever he has to do. He's a ruthless guy.
and he rides a horse shirtless. I mean,
Okay, that didn't really affect me as much, perhaps, as it did you. But for a guy his age, I got to admit.
I'm just saying you got to give him props.
Yeah, he looks pretty good for
the
an old
man's
guy.
balls out.
No, they were tucked in. Well, as far as I could tell, they were. I just didn't really dwell on the picture. But I think Putin is looking at Trump and thinking, this could be like another Ronald Reagan, a guy who's actually going to do what he says he's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the Russians have no more desire to get into war with the U.S. They like to rattle the sabers, but they have no more desire to get into a shooting match with the U.S. as the U.S. does with them, because it's two superpowers and it would not be pretty.
Right.
So I think they're just kind of shutting up.
Yeah.
Now, you can only push them so far.
They're
but,
I mean, they're doing the dance.
Yeah.
And so you got to let them do the dance.
Which brings me to the nut job. This guy, this cleric,
The problem is, I don't like the word nut job in this case, because this guy 100% believes what he's saying.
Well, that's why I think he's a nut job. He's a psycho.
No, but he's a cleric, and he's literally simply interpreting
His
what their religion,
Quran.
right?
Yeah.
Their holy book says thus and so. So I don't think it. Even if you don't like what the Bible says or my interpretation of the Bible, it doesn't make me a nut job. It just makes me distasteful to you.
Well, what it does make you is a what's the word I want?
Extremist.
Where you'd hear to dogma. I can't think of something.
Dogmatic.
Yeah, true, but there's a stronger word for it. Ideological.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what it makes him. But here's the thing: if you look at particularly the Old Testament, there's some pretty brutal stuff in the Old Testament. Like chop their arm off, eye for an eye, and stuff. Well,
God told them to go out and wipe out entire groups of people.
Now that we follow the Bible, we believe in the Bible, but we don't go off and do that. There's a sort of tempering today. Okay.
Well, for one thing, we're not Hebrews, so
no,
we're not Jews. So he specifically said, "These are my chosen people," and he made the same offer to other people, and when they turned him down, he told the Hebrews, "Go wipe them out."
Yes.
He doesn't do that anymore.
Well, he's taken up some other hobby. He doesn't do that. But my point is, look, the reality is, how do I say this? The reality is that these radical Muslims, of which there are a lot of them, in the long run, they're not going to win. Particularly.
Well, I hope you're right.
Well, and I'm not one of these people because right always wins out. That's crap. That's not true. It's just not true. If right always won out, we wouldn't have all the violent crime that we have because it wouldn't happen.
Right.
But guerrilla warfare is bad news. But the fact is, like in Vietnam, we really didn't lose Vietnam. We withdrew from Vietnam. Okay, so they can throw bombs at people and all that stuff, but they live in places. And if you have a president of the United States who gets what war is all about, You kill 20 of our people in Boston, we wipe out an entire town of everybody who you know. Eventually, you run out of people to kill. Okay? I mean, eventually, you're going to run out of people to kill. They are being allowed to get away with this stuff. And yes, I know they want to go get their 20 virgins or whatever it is. But the reality is, we listen on their phones. We know where. You know what I'm saying? The technology. These people are in the Stone Age for the most part. For the most part, they're in the Stone Age. They can find them. They can find them, and you just keep killing them.
Yeah.
Grant had it right when he went to Atlanta. He leveled it, salted it. That was it. Over and done with. That ended. Yeah.
Well, it's true.
So I just, in the long run, I don't see that they can pull it off. They're doing it in countries where people don't have guns, where they don't have the starch to stand up.
Right.
Okay? Can you see that? Can you see them going into Alabama and doing that?
Well, and see what happened when they went to Texas.
Exactly. I mean, they're going to go, well, hell no.
They went from Arizona to Texas, and they two bullets, 2 guys gone. Yeah. That's it.
Okay, we're done. Let's try Illinois.
That was so funny.
So I just...
I never get tired of that story.
No.
I just feel like, tell me this story again.
It's my bedtime story. Daddy, tell me that story again with the Muslims.
The cartoon contest. Tell me again about the cartoon contest.
And the other thing is, there are, and I know, I have friends who are Muslim, and they fit perfectly fine in this society, in culture, because they're not radical. They don't interpret it that way. They believe in the Quran, but like we look at some of the things in the Bible and we go, well, yeah, okay, 2,000 years ago, maybe they did that, but, now I'm going to go to jail if I do that. I don't want to do that. So people can get along. They can get along. But these individuals, these types of people, they got to stomp them out. And this may be a president that'll do it. The last president aided and abetted them.
Oh.
He opened the doors to them.
Oh, yeah.
This president's going, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
It's interesting that the courts and the Democrats are doing everything they can to stop him. The sanctuary city thing, all that. They're doing everything they can to stop him.
They're losing their minds.
Yeah.
They're absolutely losing their minds.
So I don't know, but this cleric in particular. So you say he's just being honest. Well, that's fine. Maybe he is being honest, but I still think it's a whack job. I mean, he talks about we'll defend our religion with our own blood. That part I go. That's fine. I got to. I can get into that.
Get behind that.
Yeah, exactly. You read this thing about in Germany, where they broke into a place. See, they don't need guns. They don't need bombs. They just need to be able to kill people. So they broke into a construction site. This is a little town in Germany, a small town.
6,500.
6,500 people. They broke into a construction site, stole construction tools, and then went on a rampage, trying to kill people and stuff. People like that have to be eradicated.
Yeah, this is my favorite part of this article. In one small town, so a different town in Germany, residents attempted to lay out some ground rules for the new arrivals,
Right.
the Muslims, the immigrants, which included learning German, not harassing girls, and exclusively using toilets for defecation.
That's really taxing.
That, they are so extreme.
Yeah.
So racist.
Yep.
And, they were labeled as racist by other people in Germany.
This one town that you're talking about has, how many they have? 500 migrants. 500 migrants in a little town. It costs them 500 euros per month. And the euro is just about, it's $1, maybe $1.05, something like that. So they're paying $500,000 a month to house 500 immigrants that they didn't want to begin with.
Right.
And those immigrants, that's $24,000 per immigrant per month, okay? What are they doing with $24,000 a month? Think about that. I used to make pretty good money as a journalist. I didn't make $24,000 a month.
No.
And yet this little town is supporting these
I don't
people.
pay that a year for my housing.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? So where does this money go to? What are they doing with this, giving this money to these people? And then when they try and say, I don't think we want any more immigrants. Oh, you're racist. You're racist.
Or we want them to use the toilet to go number 2.
I can understand that sort of.
It's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, well, you get the urge. What the heck? I just, and they say this is coming here.
Yeah. I'd like to see it, to be honest with you.
I think if it actually really started up to that level here, I think it'd be sort of mass slaughtering. I really do.
Well, either that or just a lot of what you've seen, like a lot of the YouTube videos or the Facebook videos we've seen of women just beating down men who are harassing
Isn't
them.
that a great one?
Or trying to rob them or trying to do, commit all sorts of crimes. Women here are not as defenseless as women in other places.
Yeah, we try to keep you down, but it just doesn't work.
Well, no, I mean...
Yeah. That whole glass ceiling thing, I've been hit with that in the face so many times. It's unbelievable. I just...
Once we started burning the bras, it was all downhill from there. You had no chance after that.
Out of control. And there's nothing really more humiliating to a Muslim male to get beaten up by a female.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Like American men just get their man card taken away. But Muslim men, I mean, that's like... They can't even leave the house after that.
It is so poignant that the Israelis have women flying fighters. Yeah. I think that is truly classic. Not only are they bombing these guys, but they're women bombing these guys. Yeah. And I don't know if they're doing it in Israel or not, but I'd be having banners up.
And the Kurds have entire battalions that are
women
that are nothing but women.
Yeah.
And they were like, they're apparently the Muslim men, the ISIS guys are like scared shitless that they're going to get killed by this battalion of women because it's like even more humiliating.
What could be worse? Throw pig guts on me, too, while I'm dying. I just, It's...
Make them eat bacon.
Everybody has vulnerability. The problem is, particularly under the last president, he aided and abetted. He wasn't looking for vulnerability.
No,
he was looking to help him.
He wasn't standing up to him.
Whether he had good intentions, which I really don't believe, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for conversation purposes, that he really thought that he was providing aid to refugees. Even if that's true, he saw the results very quickly of what that led to. So the man is an arrogant jerk, but he's not a stupid, arrogant jerk. So obviously he knew what was going on. And Trump is just saying, we're not going to do that. And the irony of it is they're arguing with him. Women who are being raped are saying, oh, you're being racist. Fine. All right, we're going to come back. And when we come back, Gretchen will do her thing. And we're also going to talk about a judge is being sued because he's Christian. All that more when we return with more on Target Radio.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. The On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invite you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
In need of a ride to O'Hare or Midway Airport? Well, look no further. The Yellow Checker Cab Company is the cab company for you. With the Yellow Checker Cab Company, you will always be greeted by a friendly face and arrive safely and on time for your flight. Start your trip off right by taking advantage of one of their limos, shuttle vans, cabs, or courtesy cars. And airport trips are not all they specialize in. This 24-hour cab service will pick you up anytime, any day, for any occasion. From bachelorette parties to school dances to just a night out with friends. Yellow Checker Cab Company has the best rates in town. So sit back, relax, and leave the driving to the professionals. Once you experience their fast and affordable cab service, you'll be a customer for life. When it comes to cab companies, be sure to choose Yellow Checker Cab because you have the right to expect certain things from your cab company. For further information or to book your trip today, call 815-744-2900. That's 815-744-2900.
You're listening to On Target Radio with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life. Stand by. Here's Gretchen with your action items for the week.
From the ISRA, the Senate deadline for bills has been extended. This is not surprising. In past years, we have seen it extended to May 31st and beyond. This means that we need to be on guard all the time. There are really dangerous bills out there. House Bill 2354, which is the Lethal Order of Protection Bill, is on its third reading in the House. Two other bad bills are Senate Bill 1657, gun dealer licensing, and Senate Bill 1985, ammunition lead ban, which are there for only one reason, to make things tough for law-abiding gun owners. Also watch out for Senate Bill 1291, which is a lookalike bill to HB 2354. If you have not already contacted your Illinois legislators about your opposition to these bills, please take the time to do so. It is going to be a busy spring session for our lobbyists in Springfield. The following Safer USA classes are at our facility in Waterman. Saturday, April 29th, Tactical Pistol 1 and 2, taught by David. Saturday and Sunday, May 6th and 7th, Illinois Concealed Carry 1. This 16-hour class will be taught by David and Gretchen and meets the training requirements for Illinois Concealed Carry as well as Florida, Arizona, and Utah. Saturday, May 6th, Long Range Rifle, taught by Ed Janka. To sign up for classes, go to saferusa.com and click on Register.
Always pithy. Always pithy. Last kind of thing, and I thought you would certainly be interested in this one. There's an Oregon Circuit Court judge, Vance Day. Now, in Oregon, they give judges the power to perform marriage, but they're not required to do it. They've just given them the power that if they want to do
it's voluntary.
They can do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's a Christian, and he didn't want to perform gay marriage. And as everybody who doesn't want to perform gay marriage, I have gay friends. You know, it's like back in the 70s. You go, I have black friends.
I know black people.
Yeah, exactly, right. So who knows, but reality. But the point is this. He's not required to perform it. They've just given him the right to perform them. And he says, you know what, just to avoid controversy, I'm not going to perform marriages, period, for anybody. I'm just not going to do it. Right. I'll refer them over to whoever they have, JPs or whatever they got. Well, that didn't go over well. It didn't go over well at all.
Did not fix the problem.
No. So now what they've done, they're literally going after him for that, for one. And that's a religious belief, which, remember the couple with the wedding cake?
Right.
Okay, they got crucified.
Right.
For the same
there were a
thing.
couple of bakers, and there was like a florist also.
Yeah, right.
That had a run-in with this in various places.
So they're going after him for this, and the Judicial Review Board discovers that it's really kind of a thin case.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to work out as we had hoped. So now they start digging around to find something else. They're actually persecuting this guy now.
Yes.
They're actually going after him for the offense of being a Christian, basically.
Yes.
And what do they discover? He volunteers and he works with veterans. He and his son.
Yes.
And unbeknownst to him, one of the veterans they work with that they like wanted to go shooting or something.
No, his son actually asked the veteran.
Right. But what I'm saying is one of the veterans, unbeknownst to the judge, his son, his son who worked with him with his father,
right,
as an aside that the father didn't know about,
right,
arranges to take the guy shooting.
Right.
The problem is, it turns out he's a felon.
Yes.
In Oregon, you can't touch a gun if you're a felon, right? Mm-hmm. They're trying to stick this to the judge now, who didn't even know this was going on.
Right.
This is how desperate.
Yeah. How can you charge a father with something his son did? And it sounds like his son is an adult. I don't even understand how legally they can even attempt it.
Here's the thing. Anybody can sue anybody for anything they feel like. So there's nothing that says that they will actually prevail in the action.
Well, I certainly hope they don't.
But how much is it going to cost him? Because he's got to defend himself.
Right.
And particularly in this particular charge. See, if you're a public county board member and somebody sues you for something you do on county board, county covers you.
I'm covered, yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But if they go after you for something that's not county board, sister, you're on your own.
Right.
So when they were going after him saying you have to perform gay marriages, he's saying, hey, I'm not required to perform any of them. I'm not going to do period. He would have been covered because he's an employee, and that was in the due course of his duty. Right. Now they're going outside of that, and they're accusing him of something which is ridiculous.
Although I'm not sure he would have been covered because it's like an ethics thing. It's the Judicial Ethics Board.
Well, they're the ones that are persecuting him.
So I'm not sure that like the state's attorney would represent him in that.
I think technically because it's within his sphere of employment, they would have to. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, because it's the way this article is written. It sounds like it's on him to spend the money on, you know.
So that's exactly what's going to happen. Now he has to come up. He has to come out, and what they're saying is they're charging him with aiding and abetting.
Right.
Well, if he didn't even know it was happening,
right,
how precisely was he aiding and abetting?
He didn't know, and he wasn't there.
Right. I would think that's two criteria.
The other problem that is here with this veteran who supposedly is a felon is that the felony has since been reduced to a misdemeanor.
Right.
So the guy's not actually a felon. He had 3 DUIs. It wasn't even like a real felony.
It wasn't a violent felony.
It was a felony DUI. It was just escalated to a felony.
It was a statutory felony.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It was escalated to a felony because it was the third one. It wasn't like he actually killed somebody. This
is what liberals are doing.
It's a witch hunt.
It is. That's exactly what it is. There's no reason in the world. Look, if the state of Oregon said judges are the ones, they're the ones who are going to perform marriage ceremonies, that's it. You got to do it. And then he said, I'm not going to do it on religious principles. Now you got a probably Supreme Court case at some point. Okay, mm-hmm. That's an honest. This is the job description. I took the job, and we have a disagreement here. Mm-hmm. But that's not what's happened here.
Right.
Okay, he's not required to perform marriages. And I don't know this for a fact, but I'm going to guess that there are probably some judges who go, I don't want to be bothered. I'm just not going to do marriage. So I would guess that somewhere in the state of Oregon, there's some judge who, not for religious reasons, just goes, I don't want to be bothered.
Don't feel like it.
They're not going after him.
Right.
They're going after the guy that's a Christian. Mm-hmm. And that's correct.
And the other thing is they're going after him because he is he's the chairman of the Republican Party.
Yeah, right. But that's a small little aside. Yeah.
In the state of Oregon, he is the GOP chairman. So that's the other thing.
It's a witch hunt.
Yeah, that's the other reason they're like, oh, well, we can get rid of this guy from being the GOP chairman if, you know.
Exactly.
But one thing that I thought was interesting here is that he's an elected judge.
Right.
He is no longer an appointed judge. He was elected in 2012. The people chose him.
People chose Trump.
As far as I'm concerned, end of story.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
And the people chose Obama. We had to live with that crap for 8 years, and we did.
And we did.
We sucked it up.
We complained. We certainly tried to do the best we could to get our way, but we didn't do the kind of stuff these people are doing.
No, absolutely not.
Obama is running a shadow government less than 2 miles away from the White House in that blown-up mansion that he's renting.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you hear, I heard it this morning on Meet the Press, some satirical website or some political commentary website, I don't remember what the name of it was, they wrote like a little blurb saying, like basically comparing if Hillary Clinton had been elected instead of Trump and her kids and son-in-law were doing the same thing that Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump are doing, and so they like basically turned the tables and like wrote this thing of that Chelsea has moved has gotten an office in the White House and as an unpaid government employee, and her son-in-law is going to, was it Iraq? Jared Kushner went to Iraq with some Joint Chiefs of Staff, somebody or something, and they were saying like, oh, that that would just be ridiculous and all this. I mean, they're just coming out. They're looking for anything.
Yeah, double standard is a big thing right now. It's very, very much in vogue, and
that's been the last like 5-6 years, I want to say.
Yeah, it has, and I just, I don't know what the guy's got to do. If Republicans more and more are really getting behind him.
Wimpy. Oh, yeah.
But I mean, John Q. Public, more and more are going, yes, this is it. This is it. Yeah. And there's now that they for the past month they've been going, we're going to get him impeached. On what?
How? Yeah.
They're going to impeach him because he's unraveling all the crap that they put in place. Okay. Right. Well, we don't like it.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Exactly. And probably a third of that stuff was executive orders. They just bypassed Congress completely. Right. You would think the Democrats in Congress would go, hey, that's
the other thing.
It's our job.
That is totally double standards is, how many executive orders did Obama do, especially in the last 2, 3, 4 years? And they're losing their shit on Facebook and, in the media.
Because we're unraveling them.
Well, no, but that Trump's doing all these executive orders.
He's writing executive orders.
Well, he is, as a stopgap measure to try to, give Congress time to set things right. And, so he is doing some of these things. But, it's like he's nowhere near close to what Obama did, total.
No.
And it's just temporary. That's not the way he's going to run his entire administration. It's just he's trying to.
It's really not huge things circumventing the law. The things that he did with Obamacare when it began to implode literally were unconstitutional.
Oh, yeah.
That was legislation passed by the Congress, and he just sidestepped it and changed the dates and stuff on his own. I mean, that's just clearly illegal.
Yeah.
So, now they expect us to somehow play by some set of rules that they like. I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, if they change the rule book, guess what? That's the new rule book.
Dirty Harry, our hero. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting 4 years. It'll be interesting to see what happens at the end of 4 years.
Yes.
The way he's going now, a lot of people who weren't in favor of him are going, okay, he talks the talk and walks the walk. He's doing what he said he's going to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that a lot of these so-called independents that I know, that I see their comments on Facebook and things, they're not thrilled. They're not coming around.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll bomb them too. We'll just find them on a map, label them Syria, and let go. Anyway, we're getting down to that magic moment. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen tonight. However many of you there are. And we'd appreciate it if you'd tell your friends about On Target Radio.
We'd also like to thank our engineer and announcer, Eric Allen, and our sponsors, Yellow Checker of Joliet, My Editor Creative Business Services, the Will County Grassroots Division of the ISRA, the Illinois State Rifle Association, the Aurora Sportsman's Club, and Safer USA.
We actually have no idea what we're going to do next week. But then these days, we typically don't have any idea.
Pretty much par for the course.
Yeah, other than our Australian friend, which was a great show.
And Tom Gilligan.
Right. Exactly.
We had that planned ahead.
So we'll have to start thinking more in terms of longevity, and also in terms of doing some commercials. We want to do some commercials, so we need the money to get a place to set up and get out of my dining room. Anyway, finally, we hope that you'll listen again next week. We'll have some red meat issues of some sort that we will talk about next week when we return with more On Target Radio.